Hello everyone and welcome to this special episode of Untold History. Today, we come together to reflect on an anniversary that transcends generations and borders, the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau, one of the darkest places in human history. This episode aims to not only remember the events that occurred, but also to explore little-known stories of those who lived, resisted, and survived that tragedy. Over the next few minutes, we will share powerful stories, important lessons, and reflections that challenge us to keep the memory of victims and survivors alive. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history and for being part of our community committed to learning and memory. Start. On January 27, 1945, Red Army troops arrived at the gates of Auschwitz-Birkenau. What they found there was a scene of unimaginable horror. Thousands of prisoners, many of them on the verge of death, remained in the camp. Some could not walk, could barely speak. Next to them, mountains of clothes, shoes, and personal belongings were found, vestiges of the millions of lives that had been exterminated. For Soviet soldiers, this moment marked a turning point. Between the cold and the devastation, the camp was a testament to the extent to which human cruelty can go. Surviving prisoners recounted how, despite their release, the impact of the horrors they had experienced never left them. Many had no family or home to return to. The liberation of Auschwitz not only meant the end of the camp, but also the beginning of a struggle to rebuild shattered lives and preserve the memory of what happened. To understand the magnitude of what happened at Auschwitz, it is crucial to listen to the voices of those who have been silenced for too long. These are some of those stories. Yannick Spiegel was only 7 years old when he was deported along with his family. Separated from his parents, he was saved by a prisoner who lied about his age to prevent him from being sent directly to the gas chambers. Yannick grew up in the countryside surrounded by horror, but he never lost hope. His story, published years later, reminds us of the power of human endurance even in the most extreme conditions. In August 1944, more than 4,000 Roma were killed in a single night at Auschwitz. Among them was the Horvath family, whose descendants today work tirelessly to preserve their history and educate the world about the Parajmos, the genocide of the Roma. This tragedy, often forgotten, is a reminder that the Holocaust affected much broader communities than we usually imagine. Inside the camps there was also resistance. David Allera, a French Jewish artist, was forced to work at the Sonderkommando, where he clandestinely drew scenes of what was happening in the gas chambers. Although he risked his life, David created a visual testimony that today is fundamental to understanding the horrors of the Holocaust. Women also played a crucial role in the resistance. Mala Zimmetbaum, a young translator of Belgian origin, tried to escape from the camp with her partner. Although she was eventually captured and executed, her bravery became a symbol of hope for her fellow prisoners. Another notable example is that of Gisela Perl, a Hungarian Jewish doctor who was forced to work as a gynecologist at Auschwitz. To save lives, Gisela performed clandestine abortions in extreme conditions, preventing pregnant women from being sent to the gas chambers. Her story, though heartbreaking, is a testament to sacrifice and humanity. Among the survivors, we also find Primo Levi, an Italian chemist who survived the camp and dedicated his life to writing about his experiences. His book, If This Is a Man, is one of literature's most powerful testimonies about the Holocaust, a constant reminder that even in the worst of circumstances, human dignity can prevail. When the Red Army arrived at Auschwitz on January 27, 1945, the soldiers were shocked by what they found. Many of them described the horror of seeing thousands of people on the brink of death, along with evidence of the industrial scale of the genocide. Those accounts, documented in diaries and letters, show that even the liberators were forever scarred by what they saw. 80 years later, Auschwitz remains a harrowing reminder of what happens when hatred and bigotry are allowed to grow unchecked. The anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz is commemorated every year on January 27th as the International Day of Commemoration in memory of the victims of the Holocaust. On this date, world leaders, survivors, and citizens from around the world gather in ceremonies to pay tribute to those who lost their lives and to renew the commitment to fight anti-Semitism and all forms of hatred. At Auschwitz-Birkenau, candles illuminate the cold landscape as the voices of survivors resonate loudly, reminding us that memory is our greatest weapon against oblivion. Many survivors, such as Eva Schloss and Frank's half-sister, have dedicated their lives to educating the new generations. Eva says that, although the past cannot be changed, the future is in our hands. His message resonates strongly in a world where anti-Semitism and other forms of hatred are on the rise. Educational programs, such as those organized by Yad Vashem and the Holocaust Museum at Auschwitz, are critical to preserving memory. However, we also face the challenge of denialism, which seeks to distort historical facts. Combating these lies is a responsibility shared by all of us. The Holocaust did not begin with gas chambers, but with hateful words, discriminatory laws, and the silence of those who could have acted. That is why remembering what happened in Auschwitz is not only a duty to the victims, but also a warning for the present and the future. George Santayana once said, "Those who do not remember the past are doomed to repeat it." 80 years later, these words remain a beacon guiding us in the fight against intolerance and hatred. Thank you for joining us for this special episode of Untold History. Today, we have remembered the victims, survivors, and heroes of Auschwitz, and we have reflected on how to keep their memory alive. If this episode has inspired or made you reflect, we invite you to subscribe to our channel and share this content with others. Together, we can ensure that the lessons of the past are never forgotten. Thank you for being part of this community. See you in the next episode of Untold History. See you soon.